Hello, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. Can you please confirm? Wonderful. So I hope you have prepared for the quiz as well. Today we have the quiz for the excellence certification from our side, and that quiz is going to be conducted towards the end of this session. All right. So in case if you are waiting for the link to attempt the quiz, that link is going to be provided towards the end of this session. Fine. Second thing, we have included questions only from day one, day two, and day three inside the quiz. So please ensure that whatever notes you have prepared on the last 3 days, you keep them handy while answering questions on the quiz, in the quiz. All right. So no questions outside our discussions will be asked. It's a very short quiz. It will hardly take you 10 to 15 minutes to complete the whole quiz. And I will assign some time towards the end of this session today. Is that fine for everyone? Yes. The quiz is going to contain MCQ questions. And since it's a open book quiz, can somebody tell me what do you mean by open book quiz? The quiz is open book, meaning you can reference all the notes you have prepared since day one. Yes, you can use your notes in order to answer the questions in the quiz. But I would strongly discourage anybody who is using ChatGPT or Claude in order to answer the questions in the quiz because it will definitely not give you any understanding about the concepts you have learned so far. So please try to ensure that you use only your notes. Try to use only the understanding from the first 3 days to answer the questions during the quiz. All right. Perfect. So can we first study for the first 1.5 hours today? And towards the last 30 minutes, I will open the quiz so that we all can start appearing for the quiz as well. The quiz is going to be opened at somewhere around 6:45. I will inform you during this session itself what has to be done to attempt the quiz. I will share the quiz link, so that you can quickly appear for the quiz as well. All right. And the quiz is sharp going to close at 7, maybe around, sorry, not 7. It will sharp close somewhere around 8. All right. It will start at 7:45. I think I mentioned incorrect time before. 7:45 is the time when we start the quiz, and 8 is the time when we close the quiz. So please ensure that you utilize everything we have studied so far to answer the questions correctly. That's crazy, Niranjan. I think you don't have to even learn to use ChatGPT uh, to answer the questions. Easily, it can be done. Amazing. So let's try to now start with our discussion. If you can remember, yesterday we started looking into, yes, the quiz will be out of 20 marks. There are total 10 questions. Each question will be of 2 marks each. All right. And there is a surprise. I will discuss about that towards the end of the session when we open the quiz. During that time, I will discuss about what the surprise is. All right. I wasn't able to mark my attendance, but I attended the session. What do I do, sir? Um, See, we will give maybe a concession of one session. Like instead of considering all 5 days, we will consider 4 days in order to provide the certification, because a lot of students are having the similar doubt that we didn't mark the attendance for one day. I think one day we can give the concession, and remaining 4 days, or at least 4 days, should be marked. Like the attendance has to be marked, otherwise the certifications will not be provided. Can we now start the session? Everybody ready to learn few new things today? Yes. Do you remember yesterday I discussed about a system, and we started building that system in the session, but we didn't complete the final part of that system. If you can remember what that system was, can you please quickly remind me? If you can remember, can you please quickly remind me what that system was? Yes, the feedback intelligence system, right? We built or we were building something called as feedback intelligence system. And can you please help me identify what all components goes inside any generative AI system? In order to build this, we have to put three components, right? And what were the three components? To build this application, we looked into something called as context builder. We saw something called as chat model, and there is something called as output parser. Got it? These are the three components we require. If you can remember, on day one, I demonstrated a diagram. Let me try to demonstrate or keep that diagram again in front of you. Do you remember this diagram? Yes, we discussed about Microsoft Azure as well yesterday. But I hope you remember this diagram, right? Now, what is this diagram allowing us to understand? It is making us understand this pattern which we were discussing in the since past few days, that human prompt or human instruction is first going to travel to the first component, which is nothing but the context builder, right? What this context builder is going to do? Context builder is going to append something like a system prompt with the human prompt. Or in case, do you agree the system can also contain a memory component? You remember this memory component? By default, large language models are stateless. So definitely, in order to ensure that LLM remembers the historical conversation, you need to have a memory layer, a memory component. And this historical memory has to be injected into the context whenever a human asks any question. What is the output of this context builder? What is the output of this context builder? What do we get here after human prompt is injected inside the context builder? Yes, the output of this is context. And can you also remind me, if you can remember, there was a different name we gave to this context builder in LangChain. We started building this entire application using LangChain. And what do we call this in LangChain? We call this as template in LangChain. You remember that? And do you remember in LangChain, we have also developed this component? In order to define the template, which library of LangChain did we use? Which library of LangChain did we use to create the template? We used something called as LangChain core. This was the library we used in order to define the template. Do you remember which library was used to define the large language model? Was there another library to define the large language model? Yes. And what was that library? We used something called as LangChain Grok. Amazing. We used something called as LangChain Grok in order to define the large language model. Now, once you are done developing this component, we have already developed these two components yesterday. In LangChain, how do you call a component? Let's say if you have to call a component like template or you have to call a template like LM, how do you call these components? Amazing. We use LangChain provides us a unified, remember this word? LangChain provides us a unified way of calling any component. And that unified way is to use something called as an invoke method. You got it? Is everybody clear with this? Yes, amazing. So as Akhilesh has clearly mentioned, the the templates, the templates invoke method. When I use invoke method on template, do you remember that invoke method on template mandatorily expects us to provide a dictionary? Yes or no? The templates invoke method expects us to pass a dictionary. Can you tell me how many key value pairs should I provide inside this dictionary? How many key value pair should be there inside this dictionary? Definitely, if it's a dictionary, we have to provide some key value pairs. Please note that number of key value pairs here, number of key value pairs will depend on how many placeholders are there inside this context builder, inside this template. Yes, yesterday, as Maria has mentioned, we have used a single key value pair. And what this number of key value pair inside the dictionary depends on how many placeholders do we have here. Yes, you can use 2, you can use 10, depending upon how many placeholders you have inside this context builder or inside this template you are defining. We are calling context builder as template, right? Depending upon how many placeholders are defined inside the template, you have to provide all those placeholders here and define some value or add some value to those placeholders. All right. Once you provide the value, for example, context builder, let me try to take you towards the implementation and show you how to do this entire thing. Are you all carrying the yesterday's implementation which was shared to you? Are we all carrying that yesterday's implementation? Are you ready to write some more code today? All right, perfect. Let me share the desktop. Let me share the desktop screen. Please confirm if you can see the desktop screen. Tell me which software was I using in order to write the code? Was it VS Code? Was it Google Colab? Or was it something else? Which software did I use? Yes, correct, Tushar. Yes, amazing. Most of you are correct. We used something called as Jupyter Notebook in order to write the program. I've already opened the Jupyter Notebook on my system. If you can see, yesterday we were building something called as project number 1. So let me go into the project number 1 and complete this project really quick so that we can jump into project number 2 as well today. If I open this project, this is how it looks like. Can somebody tell me what is happening inside this step number 1 if I use this line? Look at the screen and tell me what happens if I run this line. Let me comment it. Yesterday, I've already executed it. So no need to perform this operation again. Yes, it installs LangChain for me. Let me click on run button. Since I've converted it to a comment, this entire log is going to disappear because I don't want to see this log again. I don't want to keep this log in my Jupyter Notebook unnecessary. It is consuming a lot of space and it looks a little confusing to see this particular log which says collecting this, collecting that, installing this, installing that. I don't want to see that. So let me click on run button after converting it to a comment. If I do that, that log simply disappears. If I click on run button again in the next cell, I will be able to see the installed LangChain core is of which version. In this case, the LangChain is installed with 1.5.4 version. How many total libraries get installed when we install this LangChain? How many total libraries gets installed? Yes, correct, Surya. There are 4 total libraries which gets installed. And this is the name of, this is a list of all the 4 libraries. And we have already discussed about this yesterday. So I won't get into the same discussion again. Let me try to jump into something more important. Please note that any of these libraries will not be sufficient for you to start building the second component in the application. If you can remember in the architecture, the second component is LLM chat model, right? In order to create a chat model or in order to create a large language model, you need another component. And that component is typically constructed using LangChain Grok or LangChain Cohere. Let's try to come down. Can somebody guess what this is? This is the context builder. Amazing, Surya. This is a template, right? And this context builder contains how many total prompts? How many total prompts are there inside this template? There are 2 prompts. If you can see carefully, this is the first prompt. What is the type of this prompt? What is the type of this prompt? This prompt is of system type, developer type. And the second prompt, when you see here, is of human type. Human is going to provide the feedback. How many total placeholders do you see in this entire context? How many total placeholders do you see in this entire context, inside this entire template? There is exactly a single placeholder. Everyone, please focus here. Placeholder is identified with a curly bracket. How many curly bracket notations do I have inside this entire annotation, inside this entire template? I have a single placeholder. I have a single curly bracket notation, and anything that is kept inside the curly bracket is going to be considered as a placeholder. Think of placeholder as a blank, which is there so that we can fill that blank with any value of our choice. For example, whenever a human calls this template, human will provide their own feedback value. Yes, correct. This is the yes, that is correct, Kashyap. This is like F string. You are simply saying this is a placeholder, this is a blank, which can be basically replaced by any human string. Right? Human is going to provide feedback, and that feedback is going to replace this placeholder. Now, let me click on run button. Let me click on run button here. And when I do that, this entire cell executes, and I can confirm that this has successfully executed because I see a number here. If you see a star here, it means that cell is still currently running. All right. Let's come down. Do you remember what this does? Do you remember what this does? Let me simplify this implementation a little bit. Now tell me what this does. I have a template. I have already created a template. We are just, yes, amazing. We are just calling the template. And do you remember, whenever you call the template, whenever you call the template, you have to provide a dictionary containing key value pairs. How many key value pairs are supposed to be here inside this dictionary? The number of key value pairs here should be equal to, can you please tell me, should be equal to the number of placeholders inside this template. Can I say that? Number of key value pairs here will be equal to number of placeholders inside this template. We are simply saying, please try to replace this placeholder. Please try to replace this placeholder with this value. All right. So what value will go inside the placeholder? I like the product very much, will be the placeholder value. And the entire context will look something like this. The first prompt instruction inside the context will be, you are a strict JSON generator. You do something like this. And the second prompt will contain the feedback which looks like this. This particular feedback is going to be populated over here. Just give me a second, guys. All right. I hope my voice is audible now. Amazing. Now, somebody was asking what is the use or usage of placeholder? What is the advantage of using a placeholder? Do you agree with this placeholder? What has happened is, regardless of what feedback comes, I don't have to write this entire instruction again and again every single time when the feedback comes. I can use the same exact representation of instructions regardless of what feedback is provided by the human. Are you getting it? So we are simply saying, this is the instruction, system instruction. I want to apply this system instruction on this human feedback. This human feedback can be anything. And I do not have to unnecessarily every time create a new prompt, create a new instruction. All right. The template, by nature, template is something that can basically be populated with anything, right? Any feedback of your choice or as per your data set, database. Any questions here? If this is clear, please drop a thumbs up in the chat section so that I can proceed to the next step. Amazing. Now let me scroll down. Yes, let me scroll down. If you can see, I've just mentioned the exact same thing here. that LangChain, every component can be called using invoke. And for template, especially for template, invoke expects a dictionary, and dictionary should contain how many total key value pairs equivalent to how many placeholders are available inside the context. Now let's come down. Tell me what is happening here. What component are we supposed to build next after building this thing? What do we build next? Yes, we build the chat model next. To build the chat model, I need the large language model. And we have already seen that Grok has a list of large language models they provide. So I can utilize that list. Yesterday, if you can remember, I created a API key as well on my Grok dashboard. Do you remember that? And I've copy pasted that API key over here in this code. And I expected you to do the same. This is not the best possible coding practice. Please make a note of that as well. We typically provide API keys with the environment variables rather than providing the API key directly inside this particular format. Just to keep it simple and to make it easy to understand, I have kept the API key directly in the code, but I will never do this in the production. I will never do this in actual application development. Now, let's try to change this code to something which is much better or something which is a little better. All right. Or let me do that a little later. Maybe in the next project, I'll try to show you how to do that. All right. For today, for this project, let me try to proceed with this as it is. What do we have here? We are simply using this chat grok. We are using this chat grok component, this particular class. And using this class, we are initializing an object. All right. In this case, my object name is LLM, right? I am replacing the name to LLM so that it's easier for me to remember that this was the variable. See, this is the variable, this is the object that contains the large language model. And which large language model does this variable call? This variable calls GPT OSS 120 billion parameter model through Grok interface. All right. Through Grok interface, this LLM, if I try to call it, it will call using the Grok interface, it will call the GPT OSS 120 billion parameter model. I hope this part is clear, Mahima. All right. What I'm saying is I'm trying to use LangChain Grok, and using LangChain Grok, I'm trying to import chat Grok. And using this chat Grok, I'm trying to create an object. This is a class. And for this class, I created an object. This class takes these two arguments mandatorily. There are these two arguments you have to always pass. And this is an optional argument you can pass if you want, or you can simply ignore it as well. A very good question. So Sheikh is asking, can we change the model? Yes, definitely you can change the model. Let me try to demonstrate that really quick to you. Let me call this as LLM1. Will that be fine, Sheikh? Let me call this as LLM1. What is LLM1? LLM1 is the GPT LLM. Or let me call this as GPT. Let me call this as GPT underscore LLM. All right. For our reference, let's call this as GPT LLM. First, let's try to see whether this GPT LLM works fine or not. How do I do that? How do I check that? I will first run this cell. After running this cell, what do? I try to basically go to the next cell, and let's see if I can call this GPT LLM with my message. And this is the message I'm trying to pass. If I pass this prompt, what happens? GPT LLM generates a response saying that, "Hi, Kanav, nice to meet you. How can I assist you today?" If this part is clear, please drop a yes in the chat section so that I can move on to the next part. So as Sheikh has mentioned, has asked for it, let me try to add or include another LLM over here in this notebook. What do I do to do that? What should I do to do that? I will first open console.grok.com. Please look at the steps carefully. And what do I do on this website? I will go to I'll try to find some other LLM model name. For that, I'll go to Playground. And over here in Playground, I can see the list of all the LLMs available. Maybe let's say I want to use an LLM like, maybe let's try to use an LLM like Quen. All right, let's select it, copy it from here. All right, so somebody mentioned Meta. Let's try to use maybe this Llama model. All right, let's try to use this Llama model from Meta. Let's copy this from here. All right, let's copy this from here, model name, and let's try to come back to our code implementation. Now, can you tell me what do I do in order to replace or in order to initialize that model? Which model? This is the model I want to initialize. I will take the exact same implementation from here. I will take the exact same implementation from here, copy it below. I've taken this implementation, copied it over here. And can you please tell me what do I change in this implementation? What do I change in this implementation? Yes. Rename this implementation with, rename the model name with this. Just to replace the model name with this. And is it a good idea to call it a GPT LLM now? Instead of GPT LLM, let me call it as Llama LLM. Is that part clear to all of us? Is this clear to all of us? Now let's try to see if this Llama model works or not. To do that, I will use Llama LLM. What should I do in order to call this model? How should I call this model? Invoke. Always remember, invoke is the way to call any component in LangChain. So let me try to send the same message. Hi, my name is Kanav, and call another model to see what happens over here. Let me click on run button. See, it says, hi, Kanav. Previous model mentioned, it replied, hello, Kanav. Llama model is saying, hi, Kanav. It's nice to meet you. Is there something I can help you with? Or would you like to chat? Understood? Everybody understood this? I just implemented two different models from the same provider. Which provider? Grok provider. Got it? Simple to do, right? Now, what is the last component remaining? What is the last component remaining? Parser. And do you remember I told you there are two types of parser to simplify it yesterday? We mentioned that there exists something called as text parser and another parser called as JSON parser. Yes or no? Do you see that this is a completion from large language model? Is this completion human readable as of now? Is this completion human readable? Do you really want to throw this on the chat interface of a human? No, right? What do you want to do? You want to instead only print this part rather than printing this entire part. Now, how do you do that? Let me try to show you over here. Let me try to show you over here. How do we do that? We'll go to LangChain. Can you please tell me which library of LangChain contains output parsers? Which library of LangChain? Is it LangChain? Is it LangSmith? Is it LangGraph? Or is it LangChain core? Is my voice audible? Can somebody please confirm? I saw a message in the chat saying that the voice is breaking. Is it breaking for all? It is clear. Perfect. Now, I will go to LangChain core. And from this LangChain core, I will get into a module called as output underscore parsers. And from here, I will import another class, and that class is called as str output parser. What is the full form of str? What is the full form of str? String, correct. Do you agree string is nothing but a text? Right? So this is a text output parser, right? This is a text parser or text output parser. Now, what do I do in order to implement this? In order to implement this, I will take this class and create an object of this class simply like this. Str parser is equal to this. Was this difficult? This is the complete code to implement the output parser, the text output parser, which we spoke about before. When I click on run button, it will simply execute and initialize this parser for me. Tell me, what do I do next? How do I call this parser? Invoke. Amazing. I will simply say str parser dot invoke. Tell me, what do I pass inside this invoke? What should I pass inside this invoke? What should I pass inside this invoke? What should be given to the output parser? Should I provide the context or should I provide the completion? Think about the diagram. What goes as an input to the output parser? Is it context or is it completion? Invoke means calling this particular component, string output parser component. Completion, right? And where is your completion? This is your completion. Can I store this completion inside a variable now? Are you ready to see how to store this completion inside a variable? I will take this, I will bring it here, and I will assign this entire thing to a variable. Let's call that as completion. Completion is equal to this. Are we all getting this? Now, this variable is going to contain this entire output. Getting it? So if I print completion here, what will happen? It will demonstrate, it will display this entire thing for me. Now, when I pass this completion to this invoke, what do you expect in return? What do you expect in return if I pass this? Yes, it should only return the parsed response for me. If I click on run button, were you expecting the exact same thing? Were you expecting the exact same thing? Perfect. I want all of you to implement this and like take a screenshot and put it in the Discord. Quick. I want all of us to quickly perform this and drop a screenshot in Discord now. Is my voice audible now? All right, perfect. So let me try to quickly go into, are you able to see my screen? Wonderful. So just checking. Yes, this looks like correct, Tripti. All right. So Shamina, you are supposed to do it yourself and take the screenshot and share that screenshot rather than sharing the screenshot of my screen. Okay. Yes, this looks like correct. Again, same thing goes for Madhuri. Yes, amazing. So now I hope most of us, we are able to perform this operation. If you can drop a thumbs up in the chat, I can move on to the next step. Yes. All right, perfect. Now let's try to see what has to be done next. All right, everybody, please focus on the board again and try to understand what has to be done next. Do you remember that we were creating a feedback intelligence system? For feedback intelligence system, do we require a string output parser? Do you remember we were expecting an output in the form of JSON, right? We were expecting a response in the form of JSON. So we are not supposed to use a string output parser. Instead, we are supposed to use some other parser. And let's try to see how to perform that operation over here in this example. Can you please remind me, like from yesterday, what all output JSON or what kind of key value pair was I expecting in the JSON from yesterday's session, if you can remember? Yesterday, I've already demonstrated what kind of a JSON are we expecting, right? We were expecting a JSON that contains a feature called as category. You remember that? The second feature was supposed to be something called as sentiment, right? And the final feature was supposed to be, I think, description or issue, something like that. Do you remember that? Yes. If I go back on the top, you will be able to see the exact same thing I was supposed to generate in the output. I'm supposed to create a JSON dictionary, a dictionary which contains a category, which contains a sentiment, and which contains a issue. Is that clear? Sakib, yes. If somebody can share the file to Sakib. Sakib, in case if you are interested in getting the file, you can go back to Discord if you have the access to Discord. Click on this particular icon which says thread. When you click on this thread, you will be able to see the last, I think those threads were stored. Sorry, I think it is not thread. It is pinned messages, right? You just need to click on pinned messages, not the thread. Sorry. And in this pinned messages, you will be able to find the first message, which will contain this particular file, which I'm demonstrating right now. Hope that is clear. All right, go to Discord, check the pinned messages. The first message in Discord pinned messages, day 3 material contains the file. Now let's try to come back. Let's try to come back. And over here, if you see, as of now, no need to worry about what this entire complicated implementation looks like. As of now, just remember that this is the way in Python we typically define the pydantic schemas. All right, remember, in Python, we define something called as output schemas using this. Do you remember that we were supposed to create a schema that contains sentiment, that contains category, that contains issue? All right. And what is the way to create this entire thing? We are simply saying from pydantic import a class. And then what we are doing is we are trying to create a class like this. Let me try to take another example to make you understand this in a much better way. Focus everybody here. So what happens is in Python, there exists something called as a pydantic module. In this pydantic module, there exists a class called as base model. The job of pydantic is to ensure that whatever data we want, that data gets properly validated. All right. So please make a note here. Pydantic helps us with data validation. All right. What do I mean by pydantic helps us with data validation? Let's try to see that over here. Let's say I want to create a JSON object, that has to contain maybe, let's say, a person's name and person's age. So what will I do in order to do that? The syntax will look something like this. I will first initialize a class. Let's call that class as person. And within this person class, what will I do? I'll try to extend this person class with this base model class. This is called as inheritance concept in Python. And then what were the two properties I wanted person to have? I wanted person to have a name, and I wanted person to have another property called as age. Can you tell me what will be the type of name? What will be the type of name? Is the name going to be string type or is it going to be integer type? It is going to be string type. So I'll simply annotate that name is supposed to be a string type. Whereas what about age? Age has to be an integer. Got it? Now, after you have done this, the benefit of using pydantic will be visible when we start creating objects of this person class. Everybody knows this concept, right? Every class, if you want to initialize the class, we will typically initialize the class with the help of objects. In Python, how do we do that? We write the object name. Let's try to call the object name as person1. This is the object name. Then we put an equal to symbol, and then we put the class just like this. Is this part clear to all of us? Is this part also clear to all of us? Now, in order to initialize this class, is this class expecting us to provide any property? Yes, there are two properties I need to provide. One is name is equal to something, and age is equal to something. let's say name is equal to Kanav, and let's say age is equal to maybe 102. What will happen with this? If I create a person and then print it, if I print this is how the output is going to be displayed. Now, do you want to see the magic of adding pydentic here? See, I just added pydentic over here, right? Nothing else. I just kept pydentic over here. Let's try to see the magic of pydentic now. Let's try to create another person. Let's try to create another person P2. And let's try to provide the age of this person 2 as a string PWO. Now, what has to happen over here if I try to run this program? Yes. If I try to run this program, it will throw an error, and error will clearly demonstrate that, sir, I'll try to put person 2 here. It will demonstrate clearly that the issue was with the age variable. Age was supposed to be an integer, but user has passed something called as a string, and it is unable to parse a string into an integer. Everybody understood the purpose of validation? Pydentic makes your Python more powerful. Yes, Pydentic is a Python library that makes your implementations of classes and objects way more powerful. Over here, what did I do? I didn't just create the person class. I also added validations to that person class. What kind of validation did I add here? I added a validation called as data type validation. I'm trying to check whether age is of correct data type or not. Is this part clear to all of us? Right? Amazing. Now, if I scroll down, just look at this part. Can you tell me what are we doing here? Can everybody agree to the fact that we are simply creating a class just like person class? We are creating another class and inheriting that class or extending that class with base model Pydentic class. All right. This is my class I want to create, and I'm trying to inherit this class with something called as Pydentic base model. And what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is if a user tries to add a feedback that contains a numerical value inside issue, if it is an integer value passed by the user, the the class is not going to allow the user to create the object of that particular class. And what is this? If you look at this, sentiment is supposed to be a string again, and category is supposed to be a string again as well. But what are we doing here? We are trying to use something called as Python literal. And with this literal, what will be the benefit? User will not be able to enter any other value apart from these three values for sentiment, or the any other value of sentiment will not be recorded by this particular class's object. Similarly, the same thing is going to happen for the category as well. No other value apart from these five values will be recorded by the object of this particular class. If you do not believe me, let me try to prove it to you really quick by creating a feedback. Let's call this as F1. Feedback 1 is equal to this. Can you tell me what all values should I pass to this feedback? The first value has to be sentiment. Sentiment is equal to maybe something like okayish. The second value has to be category. Category, maybe let's say, is equal to product. And the final category is, let's say, issue. Let's say issue is equal to product is fine. Can somebody tell me what's the issue if I try to create this feedback object? How many total issues are there with this particular feedback object if I try to create it? How many issues do you see? Do you see a single issue or two issues? What is that single issue? What is that issue with this implementation? Sentiment expects these three values only, but we are providing a value outside the scope of sentiment. Let's try to see what happens. When I run this, there is exactly, if you see, I executed this, there is exactly one error. And what is that error? Error is with sentiment. Input to sentiment should be either of these three values. But user has provided okayish, which is not readable by this object. Is this part clear to all of us? See, Python by default is a duck typing, dynamic type programming language. I hope we all know this, right? If you say a is equal to 5, and you try to print the type of A, it will show you integer. If you say A equal to 5.0, it will show you float. If you try to put something like this in A, it will show you string. Python takes each and every single variable. The data passed to the variable will decide what will be the type of that variable. All right, which is very dangerous in runtime. And Pydantic actually solves that problem by ensuring that your data types and your data remains can be validated in some way. All right, so that problem Pydantic actually helps us solve. If this part is clear to all of us, please drop a emoji in the chat section. Great. Thank you so much, Tushar. Thank you so much, everybody else as well. Now, once this is created, let's try to see how to create a parser. Do you agree that I need to now create the parser? I've created the structure of how I want the output to look like. I've created the structure of how I want the output to look like. I just need to tell this to the output parser. You got it? I need to provide this information to output parser. How do we do that? Remember, we have this class name called as feedback output. What I'll do is I'll go to LangChain core output parser. Rather than importing something called as string output parser, I will import something called as Pydantic output parser now. I will import, rather than string output parser, I will import Pydantic output parser. And to this Pydantic output parser, I will provide this feedback output, with which what will happen is my output parser is going to be represented. Let me call this as JSON parser and hit enter to run this example. Everybody understood this? If everybody has understood this, can you please tell me what is the process of now running this entire pipeline? What will user provide? What will user provide in order to run this pipeline? Let's try to see that entire thing step by step. What will the user provide? User is going to provide the feedback. Let's consider the feedback like this. I didn't like the delivery at all. Can you please tell me what kind of an output is expected if somebody enters an input feedback like this? Can you tell me what will be the sentiment of this? Negative. Amazing. It is negative. What is the category? What is the category? Delivery. Is the delivery category accepted? Is the delivery category accepted? Yes, delivery category is accepted. So the category is going to be delivery. What is the issue? What is the issue? Maybe the user didn't like the delivery. Everybody understood this? Yes, didn't like, something like this will be available inside will be kept inside the issue. Now, in order to perform this parsing, in order to perform this, converting this unstructured text feedback into a structured text feedback, we will use our application we have constructed so far. Are you getting it? We will use our application implementation. Where do I pass this feedback? First, you tell me that. Where do I pass this feedback? I should pass this feedback to template. First, let me try to print this feedback. All right, let me first try to print this feedback, just like this. Can somebody help me fix the issue? There is a error in this. Yes, correct, Charan. I misspelled the print method. So if I do this, I will be able to see the feedback. What do I do in order to call, or what do I call first? I'll call the template first. How do I call the template? I'll call the template using invoke method. What do I pass to invoke? What do I pass to invoke? Do I pass feedback directly to invoke? Do I pass feedback directly to invoke? No. You remember, we cannot do this. We have to provide a dictionary to invoke. Yes. And what will be the key in the dictionary? What will be the key inside the dictionary? Yes. The key inside the dictionary is going to be feedback. And what is this feedback? This feedback is going to be equal to this variable. I'll provide that variable just like that over here. Do you see that this template is taking user feedback? Are you able to see the template is taking user feedback? What does template return? What does template return? After taking input, what does template return? Template returns a context, right? Are you getting it? Template returns the context. Can I say context equal to this? Let me print the context. This is the context. The context clearly says you are a strict JSON parser, analyze the following customer feedback and try to return something like this. And what is the customer feedback? What is the human message? Human message is feedback. I didn't like delivery at all. Now, where do I pass this context? Where do I pass the context? Large language model. Do you remember my LLM name was GPT underscore LLM? I have two LLMs here. One is GPT underscore LLM, another is Llama underscore LLM. Yes. And how do I call this LLM on the context? I will simply say invoke, invoke. And what do I pass to invoke? I pass context to invoke. What should be the output of this LLM? Output of this LLM is going to be completion. I will store that completion over here. Let me print completion as well. Is this completion human readable? Is this completion LLM completion human readable? No. Is this completion something that can be pushed inside the database? Is this completion in the JSON format? No, it's not even in the JSON format. It's not human readable. What were we supposed to do? We were supposed to convert this completion into JSON, or were we supposed to complete it into the human readable format? JSON, right? JSON. Are you getting it? So what do I do in order to convert it into JSON? I will use JSON parser. I will use JSON parser. Let me bring that JSON parser here. Can somebody guess what has to be done next? What should I do next? What should I type next? JSON parser dot invoke. Amazing. And what do I pass to invoke? Completion. Wonderful. I'll pass completion. Sorry, I'll pass completion over here. What will be the output of your parser? Output parser. The parser's output is going to be response. So let's call it as response. And finally, let's try to print a response here. And were you expecting a response like this? A properly formatted response containing sentiment, containing category, containing issue. Yes, we were expecting something like this. But do you remember that we are calling it as JSON parser? But internally, can you please tell me which library are we implementing inside this parser? Can somebody tell me which library are we implementing within this parser, within this JSON parser? Yes, LangChain core. And LangChain core internally is using something called as Pydantic parser. You got it? We are using the LangChain library, and LangChain internally is using something called as Pydantic. Now, if I try to print the type, if I try to print the type of this response, if I try to print the type of this response, you should see feedback output parser, which is not something we were expecting, right? We were expecting some dictionary kind of an output, right? In case if you are expecting a dictionary kind of an output, you can simply take this response and apply a method called as model underscore so model underscore, I think it is model underscore dump. Yes. If you say response dot model underscore dump, it will give you something that you were expecting. Is this whole pipeline now making some clarity, giving some clarity? Now, just to reiterate for people who found this entire implementation fast, let's go step by step. What are we doing here? We are trying to create a feedback. User is providing the feedback, something like this. Where do I provide or where do I push this feedback? I should push this feedback inside the invoke method. Inside the template method, sorry. I should push this feedback inside the template. Template will create a context for me. If you can see, we are passing the feedback to the template. Template creates the context. This is how the context looks like. We will take the context, pass it to the model, and completion is going to look something like this. And the reason why was I mentioning this is not human readable is because if you see carefully, the completion contains not just the content which has to be displayed to the user, but also a lot of other context, which is not even required for user to know, user of application to know, right? Finally, what will I do? I'll try to take the completion, pass it to the parser, and parser is going to return a response which looks something like this. In case if you want to look at this response in the form of dictionary, you can take the response and apply model dump method, which will actually create a dictionary for you, a dictionary that you were expecting in the beginning. I hope this is now clear to all of us. Can everybody please rate your understanding on this topic on a scale of 1 to 5? Amazing. Now, let me now show you a magic in LangChain. Magic implementation. Can you give me the list of all the components I had so far? As per my implementation, code implementation, can you tell me the list of all the implementations we have created? Yes, the first is template. Let me write it here. What is the second one? Second one. The second one is chat model. What is the name of chat model? GPT LLM. And what is the final one? The final one is parser. What is the name of parser as per my implementation? I kept the name as JSON underscore parser. Now, tell me one thing. Are all these three components getting executed parallelly or sequentially? Think about it. When the user pass an input, are these components executed sequentially or parallelly? They all are executed sequentially, right? Now, you know what LangChain has done? LangChain mentioned that I will allow you to connect all the components together with a single line of code rather than writing this entire implementation in this way. Do you see? I was initially calling the first component, then I was calling the second component, and then I had to call the third component. And in case if you are building this particular, you remember I told you that this is one of the most popular architecture that is used for document parsing. Now, if you have to design this kind of an architecture again and again, don't you think this is like a redundant code you will be writing every time? Like first invoke the template and then second invoke the LLM, then invoke the JSON parser. Now, in order to simplify this, what LangChain has mentioned is you can create a chain of all these components by simply putting a pipe symbol over here. Ah, yes, correct. You can simply connect all these components together by putting a pipe symbol in between these components. Template is connected to the GPT LLM. GPT LLM is connected to the JSON parser, and all these three are connected together in a single sequence. What is this implementation? What is the meaning of this implementation? All these components are connected in sequence, not in parallel. Is this part clear? Yes or no? Are we all able to understand this? Wonderful. Now, tell me, which variable contains this entire sequence? Which variable contains this entire sequence? Chain. Chain is the variable that contains this entire sequence. In order to call this entire sequence, what should I do now? What should I do in order to call this sequence on a feedback? Uh-huh. Invoke. Remember, always in LangChain, everything is called using, all the components are called using invoke. I've just created a mega component, right? I just created a mega component, which is a sequence of three different components. So what will I do? In order to call this, I will simply say chain dot invoke. Can somebody guess what has to go inside this invoke method? Feedback. Wonderful. Why feedback? Because you are going to pass that feedback to this chain. Feedback has to be passed, but can you please tell me in which format should we pass the feedback? Should I directly put the feedback or should I provide the dictionary? Why dictionary? Wonderful. Dictionary is the correct response, but why dictionary? The reason why we have to provide dictionary is because the first component inside the chain is template itself, right? So in case, if you can remember, we discussed template has to be always invoked with a dictionary input. right? So I'll try to provide a dictionary like this. Dictionary has a key called as feedback, and that feedback can be, maybe let's call this as FB feedback. All right. So let's try to call it on this FB feedback is equal to something like this. The product is great. Run this, and you got a response. Sentiment is positive, category is product, and the issue, there is no issue, but this is the format we have kept. Instead of issue, it's better to keep this particular feature as description so that it's better. And it clearly speaks about the description as product is praised as great. I hope you all are able to now see how simple it was to put together every single component inside a chain and invoke the chain just by calling it on the feedback. Can you show me the declaration of JSON parser? Yes, definitely. If I go up, you should be able to see this implementation. Can you please, everybody, I want all of you to create a chain yourself in your notebook and pass a feedback, some random feedback, try to pass it and show me the output. Take a screenshot, put it on Discord. I want everybody to create a chain, connect all the three components together, call the chain on a feedback. On some feedback, do not use the same feedback which I have given. Use some feedback and try to demonstrate. Take a screenshot and put it on Discord showing what you have done. Quick, I will give you 2 more minutes to complete this. Very good. So we have the product is great. Um, try to change this. Um, Try to change the input instead of using product is great. Maybe try to use something else. This is really good. Nyukti, can you please tell me what will you do in case if you want to convert the output of this chain into a dictionary format? This doesn't look like a dictionary format, right? What if you have to do that? Venkatesh, same question to you as well. What if you want to convert the output in the dictionary format? And legendary, can you please see that you have used string output parser rather than using a JSON parser over there? In your implementation, you have used string parser rather than using JSON parser. Everyone, quick. Let's try to implement this and try to drop a reaction. Sorry, drop a feedback. Feedback's response you are trying to pass through the chain. What if you change the sequence, Akhilesh? In case if you change the sequence, definitely the system is not going to work. Just try to think about how the system has to look like. First of all, the sequence has to definitely have the similar sequence, exact same sequence, which was described here. First template, then LLM, and then parser. You cannot call this system without having this particular sequence. But you are free to use any sequence you want. Typically, these three components are actually connected in this sequence, in this particular order, every time you define them. Yes, Sagar, please do complete the implementation and drop your implementation in the Discord. Wonderful. That's good, Venkatesh. This is really good implementation. Yes, this is correct. This is correct as well. Perfect. Is everybody able to like understand this whole sequence of components which are connected together to build this whole system? Now, let's try to do the project number two. Project number two is a small addition on top of this project. If you are ready to do it, that is, see, this is the last project for today, project number two. I will drop this project in your Discord first so that you can start implementing it yourself. I will go to this. And from here, I want all of you to implement this project parallelly with me. Please get this project from Discord. I'm putting it right away. Everyone, please take this, download this zip file. Yeah, sure, Omkar. That's completely fine. Everybody, please quickly download the zip file so that you are ready for the project implementation. Let me know if you can see the same notebook on your system as well after unzipping the file. In this case, you will have multiple folders. You will have an images folder, you will have a keys folder, and you will have observability lmops.ipynb folder file inside the zip, which has been provided to you. Can you please confirm, or somebody confirm in the chat if you are able to find the same content? Thank you so much, Anushka. What about others? Yeah, perfect, Kiran. Thank you so much, Ashrita. Wonderful. Are you ready to see this implementation now? All right. Let's first try to understand what this implementation is about. Please note that after you have built your projects in generative AI, do you agree that once the product has been constructed by you, once you are done building the product, you will put this product into production, right? You will put this product on in production, as in like you will deploy it somewhere on cloud. Yes or no? Product will be deployed on cloud. Now, once the product has been deployed on cloud, is it a good idea to never put monitoring or observability on this product? It's a bad idea, right? If you think about it, if your product is running, you should always have a monitor, some monitoring framework or something that can look into what is actually happening inside your entire product from time to time, right? Now the question is, how do you do that? How do you add observability? How do you add that monitoring into your product? In order to add observability or monitoring into your product, we will use something called as Langsmith. Is this part clear to all of us? If this is clear to all of you, I will show you how to actually start adding this observability. Wonderful. I want all of you to open a new tab. What we are doing is, again, let me repeat it. We have already now developed a product. What is this product doing for us? It is taking customer feedback, and for each customer feedback, the product is trying to generate a JSON output. Now, tomorrow, if you want to monitor, tomorrow, if you want to observe each and every single request and response which has come into the product, into your application, how will you do that? How will you debug in case if any issue happens in your entire system? How do you know what is going wrong in the system, what is going right in the system? In order to identify all these things, we need some way to monitor, some way to put observability into our entire system. Are you getting it? Let me first show you. You just implement this, and then I think it will make more sense by looking at the solution rather than just discussing about this solution uh, 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 theoretically. Are you ready? Let's try to see the implementation, and then we will see what it really means by putting observability on top of this particular system. What I want all of you to do is to go to a website called as langchain.com. Can everybody please do that? Go to langchain.com. Let me know once you are on this page. Once you can see this page on your system, please do let me know. Now, the second thing I want all of you to do is to click on what are we supposed to do on this website? What topic are we studying now? We are studying Langsmith. So please click on Try Langsmith. Please click on this button, Try Langsmith. And when you click on this button, Try Langsmith, it will ask you to log in. It will ask you to log in. A page like this will appear. It will ask you to log in. In my case, it is showing me try to use Google, GitHub, Discord, something in order to log in to their platform. Can everybody please use Google or GitHub in order to log in really quick? I will do this off screen. I will do this off screen. I will quickly log in. I will use my already existing Google account in order to log in to the system. I want all of you to quickly log in. Go to langsmith.com and try to log into your Langsmith account using Google. Now quickly confirm if you can see this screen, if you see a similar screen after logging in. Technical or non-technical, you can mark anything as per your experience. If you are from technical background, mark it as technical, or if you are from non-technical, mark it as non-technical. If there is a button to skip, you can skip that as well. All right. If you find or if you see a button to skip that question, you can click on skip. Better to click on skip if that is possible. Otherwise, you mention technical or non-technical, doesn't matter. Anything can be, anything is fine. Confirm if you can see this screen. Are we all on the same page? Is there somebody who is still doing this sign up on Langsmith? If yes, please let me know so that I can wait for another 20 seconds. Or otherwise, I will jump into the next step. All right. So the next step, everybody, next step. Do you see this gear icon, settings gear icon on the left-hand corner of your screen? Please click on that settings. Please click on that settings. Everybody, please click on the settings. And when you click on settings, you should be able to redirect to this particular page. You should be able to redirect to this particular page. Do you see something familiar we have been seeing since past 2 to 3 days? API. Click on API key. Click on create a API key. On the top right corner, you will see plus icon for API key. Click on that. And once you are done with that, provide a description. All right. I will call this API key as 5 days workshop project. Leave everything as it is. Don't change anything at all. Leave everything as it is. Just try to click on add or create API key, provide the description, and click on create API key. Let me again mention what has happened. So Pooja, what we have done here is, can you please confirm, Pooja, if you can see this home screen of LangChain? This is a LangChain home screen. Quickly confirm if you can see this. Now, what are we supposed to do from here, Pooja? Do you remember what we did after coming to the home screen? We went into the settings. If you see on the top, sorry, on the bottom left corner, you have this settings button. Click on settings. You will redirect to this API key page. In case if you redirect to some other place, on the left-hand side, you will see this API key button. Please click on that so that you can come back to this page. Clear? Is this clear? Now, once you reach this page, I want you to click on plus API key. I want you to click on plus API key. And when you click on this plus API key button, you should be able to see this dialog box. In this dialog box, you are just supposed to provide a description. In my case, I'm trying to say 5 days workshop project as the description. And once that is done, without changing anything else, I will click on create API key. Got it? Now, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to simply take this API key. Got it? We are supposed to simply take this API key, click on done, and that's it. I hope this is now clear to you and everybody else is able to understand this process. Can you please rate your understanding about LangChain, Langsmith API key creation process? I just showed you how to create the API key on Langsmith. Was it easy? Amazing. Perfect. Now let's try to see the next step. In order to perform the next step, I will go back to my Jupyter notebook. You remember this Jupyter notebook that contains Langsmith implementation? All right, please scroll down. I want you to scroll down to this point where you see pip show LangChain core. Please run this and tell me which version. And also please run this pip show Langsmith and show me which version do you have. Can you please take a screenshot of your screen with pip show LangChain core and pip show Langsmith? I want to see whether you have the correct version or not. Please put the screenshot on Discord once you are done running this line and running this line. You just have to click on this run button. And over here also, you have to click on this run button. And once both the outputs are displayed here, take a screenshot, drop it in Discord. Yes, this is correct, Venkatesh. This is correct, NZ. Correct, Gayatri. This is correct, Legendary. Correct, Mukti. Yes, looks like everybody is able to perform this operation. Wonderful. Are we ready to go to the next step? Are we all ready to go to the next step? Yeah, perfect. The next step is to come to this step number 1. Everybody, please come to this step number 1. Done. In this step number 1, can you please delete this line? I will comment this line for now. I will comment for myself. I will comment it, but you can comment it or you can delete it. It's completely up to you. Can you please tell me what do I replace this with? What do I replace this with? API key. Amazing. I will simply replace this with API key. But let's try to do a better implementation here. All right, let's try to do a better implementation here rather than pasting our API keys inside this notebook. Tomorrow, if I share this notebook with you, you will get my API key. Do I really want to share API key with others? No. Do you want to share your API key with others? Never. Right? So let's try to write a little better implementation than what we have written already. What will I do? I'll try to use this syntax. I will say with open. I will say with open. All right. And what do I want to open? I want to open this file that contains the key. Let me take this key. Let me take this key. Do you remember? I have already provided you this particular folder. Along with this IPython notebook, I have also provided you this folder containing keys. Can everybody confirm if you can see that? Inside this zip folder, when you unzip this, you will be able to see these keys. Please double click on this and open this particular folder. Tell me, where do I put my Langsmith key? First file, second file, or the third file? In which file should I keep my Langsmith key in the second file. Amazing. I will double click on this. I will double click on this. This is a text file which contains some random text ABCXYZ. I will replace this with my key. No extra spaces, no extra characters, nothing. I'll just copy paste my API key over here. Click on save and close this for now. Once I'm done saving it, I will just close it just like that. Is this part clear to all of us? Is this part clear to all of us? Now, if this is clear to all of you, please carefully observe the file name. All right. Carefully observe the file name. File name is dot Langsmith API key.txt. Right. And in which folder is this file present? Can somebody tell me the folder name in which the file is present? The folder name is keys. You can clearly see on the top folder name is getting displayed. Let me click on back. Let me click on back. You can see there is a keys folder, and this keys folder contains this file, Langsmith API key.txt. So let me try to take this path. Let me take this path. What do? I'll simply say, what do I want to open? I want to open, first of all, I want to go to the folder keys. And inside the folder keys, I have the file name called as .langsmith API key.txt. I will say as f, and then I will try to simply say Langsmith API key is equal to f dot read. And now there is no need of keeping this implementation. Now there is no need of keeping this implementation. Is this part clear to all of us? If yes, please do this implementation really quick. Would you like me to post this in the chat section so that you can copy paste it in your code? Let me try to provide it in the chat section so that you can directly copy paste in your code. Please do that. I have pasted it. I'll also do it on YouTube. So people who are joining through YouTube, I'll copy paste the code so that you can directly put it inside your Jupyter notebook. Done? Wonderful. Now, is there something missing inside this code? Do you see there is something missing inside the code? I didn't provide the project name here, right? I didn't provide the project name. So let me try to provide the project name. Let me call this as my first Langsmith observability project. I'm just keeping it a very long name, but you can keep it a very simple name. You can just call it as first project. I'm just calling it as first Langsmith observability project. Do not change anything at all. Anything else at all. Keep this, and this as it is. Only rename the project name. Instead of triple dots, try to just put some meaningful project name over here. If this is clear, can you please take a screenshot of this part on your system and drop it in the Discord? I want to see if you have implemented this or not, or correctly implemented this or not. Because if this is not correctly implemented, it will throw many errors. Venkatesh has done it correctly. Venkatesh, can you please confirm if you have correctly kept the slash? This slash in the path, please try to check if it is correctly kept. It might throw an error. Yes, Mahima, can you please remove this line now or comment this line? Langsmith API key is equal to the physically, if you are directly putting the API key there, right? Just try to comment that part. Yes, looks like everybody has done this correctly now. Now let's try to do one more thing. I want you to come down here and print this Langsmith API key so that we can confirm if this has correctly set up over here. All right. Now I want you to click on run button. And take the screenshot again and print it in the Discord. Once you execute this, I want to see this particular screenshot on the Discord. This will help us confirm if everything has been properly set up or not. Yes, correct, Aditya. Can you please now put a print statement towards the end? I want you to put this print statement towards the end, and then run this cell and share the screenshot on Discord. This is correct, Niyukti. What about others? Please implement it the way Niyukti has implemented. Run this and share the screenshot on Discord. Everyone quick, we have very limited time. We have to start the quiz as well. So please try to quickly complete this. Yes, correct, Soumya. This is correct, Gayatri. Great job, Vaishnavi. Yes, correctly done, Arya. Now, if this is clear, can we move on to the next step? Can we move on to the next step? Thank you, Kiran. All right. Now, look at this step number 2 and tell me, is this looking familiar? Look at the step number 2 and tell me whether it is familiar. Tell me if this is familiar. Yes. So let me click on run button here again. Let me click on run button. This is the exact same code which I've shown you before in project number 1. Tell me whether this is familiar. Is this also familiar? Do you see something new in this code? If yes, can you please point out what is new in this code? If you see something new, can you please point out what is new in this code? In this implementation of chat model? Yes, I have used the API key rather than pasting the API key in the code. I'm trying to use this. But in order to make it work, do you agree that you have to update your Grok API key file? Agree that you have to update your Grok API key file. So let me try to go to my project 1. In my project 1, I've already kept the API key somewhere. This one, Grok API key. I've already kept this in project 1. Let me take this. And what will I do? I will go back to the folder where I have Grok API key. Double click on this. I will replace this random text with the actual key. Save it and close this whole thing. Come back over here to this code implementation. Got it? Please click on the run button. After you are done doing this, click on run button to execute this. Next, we have the exact same implementation again for the output parser. If you can see, we are first creating a Pydantic class, and after that, we are creating a LangChain core output parser of this Pydantic class. And finally, we are connecting everything together using this template. We have this Grok GPT chat model. We have output parser over here as well. Everything has been connected together just like this. I'll click on run button. Now, are we ready for the last step? Let's try to invoke the chain. How do I invoke the chain? I will invoke the chain by running this particular command. I will simply say, let's try to use this. Product quality is good. Let's run this and see what happens. And let's try to run this again. Let's see what happens. Sentiment is negative. Category is delivery. Issue is delivery is late. For this, sentiment is positive. Category is positive. Product. And the issue, the description is product quality is good. Let me check some issue with Sakib's implementation. Sakib, it says that LangChain core is not found. I think you didn't properly execute your Jupyter notebook, or you have to do something called as pip install LangChain in order to make it work. Okay, when it says module not found means your LangChain core is not identified. You have to install LangChain in order to make sure LangChain core is identified. Just say pip install LangChain, it will fix the issue. Okay. Now, can somebody tell me how many times did I run this feedback? How many times did I run this feedback in this notebook through this chain? As of now, how many times did I run this feedback through the chain? This one was executed once, and this one was executed once again. Can you please do this? Maybe try to take some random feedback as per your knowledge and try to run it in your notebook. Maybe 2 to 3 at least try to do it so that you have much better understanding of something that I'm going to show you now. All right. Once this is done, I want you to go back to your LangChain dashboard, Langsmith dashboard. Sorry, this dashboard. I want you to go back to your Langsmith dashboard. Can somebody tell me where do I click in order to go back to my homepage? Where do I click in order to go back to my homepage? Where do I click in order to go back to the homepage? Back to Langsmith, correct. So once I click on this, I will come to this page. Can everybody please take a screenshot of this page and show it to me once? I'll show you some magic. Take the screenshot of this page and put it in the Discord. Soumya, can you please take a screenshot of code? Great job. Wonderful. Yes. Okay. Can you now check, Soumya, that whether this file exists in the current working directory, keys/grok API key.txt? Is it in the current working directory or not? Can you please check that? If it is not in the current working directory, definitely it will throw an error. Krupali, can you please check whatever you just did in the Jupyter notebook is now getting demonstrated over here. It says first Langsmith observability project. You see that? And we can clearly see how many times Krupali has executed this code. Can somebody tell me? Can you please verify, check on the screen, look at the screen and tell me how many times Krupali executed this implementation? 2 times. And how many times she got an error? Without even looking at her notebook, I can tell both the times she had an error. Yes, 100% means both the times she had an error. Isn't it interesting? Right? I also executed the code 2 times in my Jupyter notebook. Let me try to take you back to my screen. Do you see that I executed that code 2 times somewhere? You can see trace count. Trace count says 2, right? Sorry. Trace count says 2. And what is the project name? Project name is first Langsmith observability project. Whatever I kept in the Jupyter notebook is demonstrated on this dashboard. What is the error rate? Error rate is 0%. Yes, the quiz is at 7:45. Let's wait for 2 to 3 more minutes. Now, when I click on this project, I can also see both the examples I ran, right? The first example was the product quality is good, whereas the second example was delivery was late. And for this example, this is the output. For this example, this is the output. I can also see that clearly on the screen. But if you want to get into the detail of this entire thing properly, you can click on one of these rows. Either you can click on this row or you can click on this row. For example, if I click on this, I can clearly see that there were 3 components in my project. The first component was template. Second component was chat model. And the third component was parser, output parser. Yes or no? And we can also clearly see that given this input, the product quality is good. My system generated this response: category product, issue, good product quality, and sentiment positive. Are you getting it? Right? So this is something which is happening automatically using something called as Langsmith integration. By writing only these 3 to 4 lines of code, these lines of code, I was able to connect my Jupyter notebook with Langsmith dashboard, and Langsmith dashboard is currently tracing everything for me. Let me show you. As of now, there are 2 runs here, right? There are 2 runs here. Let me try to add one more run. Let me try to go back here. And let me try to run this one more time. Let's say something like poor support team. Let's run this. Negative category is support and issue is poor support team. Right? So let's come back over here. Sorry, let's come back here. Do we see that third implementation? Do we see that third execution? As of now, do we see that third execution? Do we see that third execution here? No, right? No, the third execution is not visible. Let me click on refresh button. Let me click on refresh button. And it should capture the third. See, poor support team. If I click on this, it is clearly showing me user provided this input and this is the output. If you want to check what has happened in each step, you can also click on each of these steps to identify what has happened, what was the input, what was the output. You can actually see all of that as well. If you can remember chat prompt template, if I click on this, input to chat prompt template was user feedback, right? Do you agree? Input to this template was user feedback. The output from this was the complete context. You see that? In the context, I added the system prompt as well. System prompt attached with the user prompt is the output. This context will go to chat model. Let me click on the chat model. What is the input to chat model? Context. What will context contain? Context will contain system prompt. Context will also contain human prompt. And the output of chat model is this dictionary. This dictionary goes through a parsing process, right? I will pass this dictionary through a parsing process and I will get a really nicely structured output over here after pydantic parser is done performing its job. I can also see clearly like how much time did it take to run this, how much time it took to run this, and how much time it took to call the large language model. I can clearly see LLM took 0.68 seconds, whereas other components ran without taking any time. It was very, very quick for other components to run. And what else do you see here? What else do you see? Do you see a coin symbol with 232? Can somebody guess what this coin symbol 232 is? Correct, Soumya. Do you remember that every LLM consumes token, input and output token? The total number of token consumed to to take and process this request is 232 tokens. If I take my mouse over this, I can clearly see over here a pop-up appears, which clearly shows me in input how many tokens were consumed. In input, how many tokens were consumed? 141 in input, and output how many tokens were consumed. I can see that, and the total calculation I can also see like how the tokens were distributed amongst input and output. And I can do this for all the requests coming to my application. As a owner of the application, I have the complete control. I can see everything, whatever is happening in my application. I can see one of the user's request took 0.99 second to execute. Another user's request took 0.71 seconds to execute. Somebody else's request took, if I click on this, 0.69 seconds to execute. I will stop my screen sharing. I hope you were able to understand this. If yes, can you please drop a rating on your understanding about this concept on a scale of 1 to 5? Somebody asked, are there any alternatives to the observability platform? The answer to that is yes. Let me share my screen. Is everybody ready for quiz as well? Confirm if you can see my whiteboard. Can everybody quickly confirm if you can see the whiteboard? Wonderful. So somebody asked for Langsmith, do we have an alternative? Yes, there is an alternative. Please make a note. So Langsmith alternatives. Some of the popular alternatives are Langfuse and MLflow. These are two other softwares. These are two other applications which are very, very popular in the domain of generative AI currently, which also allows you to do the exact same thing that Langsmith allows you to do. Langsmith, I'm talking about Langsmith. Langsmith alternative. I'm not saying LangChain's alternative. What is the job of Langsmith? Tell me, what is the job of Langsmith? Observability, that's it, right? What is the job of LangChain? LangChain's job is to create application. Langsmith's job is to observe or add observability to the applications, generative AI applications constructed. These alternatives are Langsmith's alternatives, not LangChain's alternatives. With that, this is all for today. Tomorrow in the session, we will start discussing about agents and build an agent ourselves end to end. But before we go into that, please ensure that you write this quiz. In order to write the quiz, I want all of you to quickly scan this QR code and start appearing for the quiz, start attempting the quiz. You have exactly 15 minutes. Please note that the quiz is going to stop taking responses within 15 minutes. I will drop the link of the quiz in your chat section. Yes, please stop putting the messages in the chat so that I can drop the link and you will not lose the link anywhere. Please click on this link and quickly confirm whether this link is working or not. I will do this for YouTube as well. For YouTube, can everybody confirm if you can see the link? I've just dropped the link in the chat section. Please use this link, click on it, and please quickly appear for the quiz. You have exactly 15 minutes. Right now, the time is 7:47. I will close the quiz sharp at 8:02, and we will close the session as well at that time. We will wait for 15 more minutes for you to complete the quiz. All the very best. And if you are done with the quiz, you can feel free to drop from the session. One more important thing, every question in the quiz expects you to answer the with a multiple correct option. All right. So it's not a akkad bakkad bambebo wala quiz where you directly just answer with a single correct option. You have to properly read the question, and every single question has multiple options, and you have to mark each and every single option which is correct for each and every single question. If this is clear to you, can you please say yes or drop a reaction in the chat section for both YouTube as well as for Zoom, so that I know that the message is clear to all of you. It's a MCQ quiz with multi-correct options. All right. So please be careful while putting your tukas in your solutions. If you score less, there is nothing. Nobody is going to scold you. Nobody is going to say anything to you. At least attempt the quiz. Try to do well. Read the questions carefully and try to answer to the best of your knowledge. Whoever has completed the quiz, please use this for marking your attendance. Please mark your attendance as well once you are done. And once done, please say a yes in the chat section or just acknowledge that you have completed the quiz. I don't have anything else to discuss today, anything and nothing else. So once the quiz is completed and you are done marking your attendance, you can feel free to leave the session. That's okay, Dipali. We will consider 4 days while providing the certificates rather than all 5 days. A lot of people have missed at least one session, so one session we will give it as uh, like it's okay. Provide the link to the quiz. Here is the quiz link. Perfect. If the quiz is done, you can feel free to leave. Whoever has completed the quiz, please feel free to leave. Attendance link is going to be provided. I'll provide you the attendance link as well. QR code you want to see, let me share the screen again. Here is the QR code. Last 5 minutes over, 10 minutes to go. Everybody, please quickly complete the quiz. If you have missed one day attendance, that's not a problem. Just ensure that all the other days you attend the session, including tomorrow. Attendance link. Yes, I can provide the attendance link. Here is the attendance link. Uh, Please click on that to mark your attendance. Uh, Kishori, the quiz link is in front of you. Like if you see on the screen, on the left hand side, you see the quiz UR, like QR code. And if you want the link itself, let me try to provide you the link as well. Tanuja, Kishori, please check YouTube chat in order to get the quiz link. Yes, you can do that, Samreen. Yes, quiz results are going to be, uh, they will be shared by tomorrow. Certificates are going to be shared to you by Wednesday, next week, Wednesday. It's a long weekend, 15th and 16th will be holiday. So we won't be able to provide you the certificates um, on Saturday or on Friday. But the certificates are going to be shared on Wednesday to all of you. You will receive an email from us by Wednesday end of the day. By Wednesday 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., you will receive an email containing your certificate. Yes, it will be shared via email. All right, Pramod. Pramod, can you please drop your email ID in the chat? Can you please put your email ID in the chat so that I can make a note of it? Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Pramod. That's okay, Aryan. That's completely fine. Just ensure that your email IDs and your names should be correctly spelled. All right. Tanusri, can you also please share your email ID? Nisha, if you are done, you can feel free to leave. Tomorrow, we will do one last session on agents and learn how the same concepts we have studied so far can be extended to agents and agentic AI. Yes, Akansha, can you also please share your email ID? What is the fees for advanced data analytics course? I would suggest, Pranjal, for you to contact our team, counseling team. You can go to innomatics.in and find our phone number there, depending upon which branch you want to join. And from there, you can take more details about the courses. I received Tanushri's email, as well as Rushi also shared the email. Omkar also shared the email. Sahil, looks like many people have missed the classes. I'm making a note of all the emails. We will confirm with the data, like in case if you have attended most of the classes, I will definitely ensure that all of you receive your participation certificate uh, by Wednesday. Yes, Maria will try doing Landgraph workshop. No commitments or 100% guarantee on that, but we'll try to plan something on Landgraph. Depending upon the success of this workshop, we'll try to plan something on Landgraph. Okay, Omkar. Is there anybody else remaining who didn't complete the quiz? I hope everybody has completed the quiz now. Sana, the quiz is almost about to close. Please ensure that you complete the quiz. I am putting the quiz URL in the chat. Please click on that and quickly complete the quiz. You have exactly 3 minutes to complete. exactly 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, we will close the link, form link, accepting the quiz intake. Thank you so much for your feedback, Vijay Lakshmi. I hope everybody is liking the teaching. Everybody is liking the way we are discussing these concepts. Just think about it. Within 3 to 4 days, you can learn so many things, right? What will happen if you learn for an entire 6 months or entire 7 months? You will become a pro in data science. You'll become a pro in generative AI. If somebody is interested, please explore our course. So we have an IIT Patna certified data science course as well as IIT Bombay certified data science with generative AI course, data analytics course certified by IIT Patna, and data science with generative AI, agentic AI course certified by IIT Bombay, which is created carefully, curated carefully, looking at what is the current industry demand. If you are interested, please ensure that you look into that course, these courses. And in case if you are interested, please feel free to call us so that we can give you the complete details about how we help students like you to get your dream job, to help you with your placements, help you become a better person by learning all these concepts. Yes, Akhilesh, we get a lot of profiles from biotech as well. I would suggest you to call us. You just call us and try to ask your questions. All right. If possible, tomorrow I'll try to share the phone numbers as well, just in case if somebody is interested to take some counseling about career, or maybe you want to learn more about us. Yes, you can feel free to leave, Sahil, in case if you are done with the quiz and attendance. Certificate of excellence and certificate of participation is going to be provided by Wednesday, 7 p.m. All right. Either it will come on Tuesday or Wednesday to your in your inbox, email inbox. Niharika, we will provide the list of participants who qualified. So, like you can identify from there. We will put that list maybe by tomorrow on Discord. Everybody who is going to get the excellence certificate will put it in Discord. All right. So you can find it from there. And apart from that, whoever performs really well, who has been really consistent every single day, has been asking questions, replying back to my questions, we will also provide rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3 certificates as well, based upon the quiz and based upon the overall performance. Thank you, Sahil. When will the result come out? Um, just wait for another 24 hours. We will share the results. All right. All right. So that's all. So I will be closing the quiz. Is there anybody else who didn't complete the quiz? Yes, you can feel free to leave, Rajiv. Is there anybody else who didn't fill and not completed? Can you please complete it quickly? I will wait for another 30 seconds. Please ensure that you submit the quiz. 30 seconds, no 2 minutes. Time is already over. You have 30 seconds starting now. Please submit the quiz. If you are not able to answer, just do some akkad bakkad bambego and try to submit the quiz. Right? Chandu, I will share the attendance link for you. Sana, can you please drop a message to me? Or maybe if you can share your LinkedIn post here itself. Let me review it right away. Yes, you can leave, Aditya. Yes, Niharika, we offer courses on data science and data analytics with generative AI. Generative AI as well as agentic AI. You remember yesterday we discussed about Azure. In our course, we actually discuss how to implement solutions using Azure as well, generative AI solutions using Azure. It's a complete in-depth, in detail implementation of how you build solutions starting from learning Python programming till the advanced generative AI, agentic AI systems, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision. All these topics will be discussed in detail. Thank you so much for the feedback, for the lovely feedback, Faridi. Om, can you please just drop your email ID in the chat so that I'll take care of it? Yes, I have been watching your LinkedIn posts. They are really good. But let me be a little transparent. I see a lot of AI getting used to build these, to generate these LinkedIn posts. I see a lack of human touch in these LinkedIn posts. So maybe I'm not sure who will be able to actually write some good posts. I don't mean to say that you have to write this entire post yourself manually, but at least try to put something that you have done rather than using complete AI to design. See, flyers you can definitely do, but try to show what you are doing. Try to show your efforts. Yeah. Yes, Shrusti. All right. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow for one last session. And we'll discuss a lot about agentic systems, build an agentic system ourselves, and try to learn way more things beyond what we have already covered. We'll try to see some more extra things tomorrow. That's all. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful evening. And tomorrow, please ensure that you join the session on time by 6 p.m. so that we can start on time and we can discuss about all the concepts within the given allocated time. Yes. Bye. Take care. Okay, Sana. I'll look into that.